Dolly Parton and Jolene on BBC Radio Manchester, and now to Marie Greenhalgh, who is an inspiration, and in fact she's inspired us all day today, because I've been asking you to complete the sentence "you're never too old to," because Marie was a little most, I think it's fair to say, when you went and did a degree, weren't you?
Yeah.
A bit older than most, because you were a police officer for until you were 30. Then you went to train to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And now you have your second play, which is coming to the People's History Museum on the 9th of June, and then to the King's Arms in Salford on the 28th, 29th and 30th of July, and it's called Aspects of Ageing. So, tell me first of all about the play.
Well, the play is drawn from the many characters that I meet every day, the older people that I meet in Wythenshawe, and they tell us such stories that are sort of uplifting, enlightening, and downright sad as well, some of them, and they're just so good that you can't ignore them. And so the writer side of me started to collate some of these stories, and they started out as monologues really, but we've sort of merged a lot of stories into 5 main characters, and the play is seen through these 5 characters. So we go from just after the war ended, meeting 2 Land Army girls who are very, very different, right to present day, where we meet some grandchildren who are reading a diary of their 100-year-old granddad who's just died. So it sort of spans all the generations up to present day.
So why do you meet? What about your work in the community, which means you meet the people of Wythenshawe?
The core sort of project aim is about reducing loneliness and isolation of the elderly. So I train, recruit and support local people to be companions to the elderly in Wythenshawe. So I meet them. I'm also a volunteer in the project, even though it's a project that I coordinate. So I meet them, my volunteers tell me stories, and we just record them, and we've not really done anything with them. They're just there. And so I decided to use those stories and make into a play.
So what you're talking about then is the people of Wythenshawe volunteering to keep older people who are perhaps feeling isolated or lonely, keep them company.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It is. There's lots of threads to it, really. Our core work is the companionship, so they sort of visit the oldest old. So we've got clients that range from 57 to 103, so it's like 3 generations of people. But we also have a community lunch. We have it in a pub. Big shout out to the Furbank pub in Wythenshawe. And we have it there. And every Thursday, we have a core of older people who come and just chat and have lunch and enjoy each other's company. And they wouldn't have it any other way. They enjoy that. And pubs are great social spaces for doing just that, for making friends. And we do trips out. So we've just been to Chester, and we're just about to launch another trip to Llandudno. So we take out coaches of elderly people to meet friends and make new ones and enjoy themselves.
It's absolutely lovely, and it really touched me this morning. I was reading some of the comments from some of your clients who, they live, a lot of them, for the companionship they get from volunteers in the community who come round. And
They do. Often it's just the TV and the radio for company. So you're actually someone's company if they're listening to you, and they don't have a human voice sometimes. And not all of them have carers. It depends what age you are and what situation you live in. And they may just be in their own home because they've lost the confidence to leave the home. You won't have to lose a partner through bereavement, and your life is halved. Your finances have halved. Life is very, very different when you're on your own. So there are a lot of lonely people, and there are a lot of people who are isolated because of that loneliness. But there are also a lot of, within our group, we've got elderly women, particularly in their 80s, early 90s, who are very independent, and they don't want to be slotted into a scheme. They don't want to be part of a project, but they love going to the pub for a chat. So that's why it's a great place to use.
It does sound amazing. And so basically, when you and when your volunteers have met these people and continue to meet these people, you call them your clients. Yeah. They have a wealth of stories, don't they? The stories pour out of them.
They're fascinating. And I think we have an edge on, say, a researcher, because they tell us stuff that they wouldn't tell anybody else. And because you're talking to them in a real relationship, it's, even though they are volunteers, they are nurturing a real relationship. And so they tell us stuff that, outrageous stuff, secrets, tell us all sorts of stuff. And even my daughter doesn't know that, or even my son doesn't know that. So we are privy to a lot of memories, reminiscences, stories, anecdotes that, like I say, span from the downright hilarious and rude to really, really sad, you know.
So the volunteers that you talk about, just so that we kind of know, these are just ordinary people who live in the area who say, I've got a couple of hours once a week or on an evening and I can go and visit. And do they visit the same person?
Yeah, we make sure that it is a continuous relationship, because a lot of older people have different people who come in every day. The carers might not be the same person, so they don't have a chance to really have a relationship with those people. Although they're great and they care for them in a professional way, they're not there to chit-chat with them. So we have the same person who visits them. But I must say as well, Becca, we don't have enough. We need so many more volunteers. I mean, I have a waiting list of 50 elderly people who have been identified to me by GPs, other health and social professionals, and we can't, you know, we haven't got the capacity to work with them. So it's really sad that I know that there are 50 people out there that could do with the company, but we haven't got enough volunteers. So, you know, we are desperate.
You're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
And so from these people, you have, you've found or you've heard their stories, and some stories you've put together then in your play, Aspects of Ageing. So how are you feeling at the moment? I mean, 9th of June, is that the first performance of Aspects of Ageing?
It's part of Manchester's History Week, so we're performing at the People's History Museum. So it's a lovely, small, very sort of intimate venue, but I think the play lends itself for that as well. So it'd be like talking to the audience and sharing memories.
And how are you feeling about that?
A bit nervous. It's just because you're sort of privy to their secrets and their stories, and there's a responsibility to tell it properly, and even though you're a writer, to not sort of make it into something that it isn't. So we're trying, you know, there's few phrases that in the play that we've kept in and said, no, that's how it was told to me. That's the phrase to use. That's what I want in there. So it is a responsibility, because you're telling somebody's life and you're sharing secrets with an audience.
And what kind of a response have you had from your clients? If you said, you know, that story that you've told me, it's amazing, you know, can I use it within the play? What did they say? What have they said to you?
Well, most of them, they think it's great. But what we've done is sort of mishmash some of the stories into one character. So the characters aren't the real person, but the words that are used are very real words and very real stories. And some of the aspects of the story are a little bit sort of bold, and the client who owned that story didn't want to be, you know, identified. So it's a great way to get stories out there about the elderly people without actually identifying them, because they're not always, you know, lovely, rosy, happy ending stories, you know.
No, of course not.
And sometimes it's a secret and they don't want their family to know.
Yeah,
you know.
So you've got to be careful, haven't you?
That's the reason why we changed it from monologues to this, because we could tell more of a story and give more of an idea about the lives led by Land Army girls in particular, because that's where the story sort of wraps around, and be true to their story.
So you run this project, the Wythenshawe Good Neighbours, don't you? And lots of tweets, by the way. Thank you for all the tweets. You've been all busy, very busy tweeting. So you run that project, and so you run that alongside your writing, do you?
Yeah. I had two distinct worlds, a writing world and a caring world, and last year we were really running out of funds to coordinate the project. So I knew that, you know, I had a play there. Well, I've got loads of plays on the shelf to bring out, so bought a play out. We performed it last year. We did it, I think we had made 4 performances. We had a great time doing it, and we used the profit to shore up the project. So this play that we're doing now, it's a profit share, so we're going to share the profits, and my profit will go towards the project again.
It's fantastic. It really is. I said earlier on today, it's heartwarming, especially actually reading what the volunteer companions need to the clients, you know, the older people in the community. And it's very, very touching to hear that. I mean, you must be, you know, they say it to you face to face. But for me, reading it was very, very moving. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Good. Am I allowed to say good luck in your world? You've got to say break a leg, haven't you?
Something like that. Yeah.
Showbiz.
Yeah.
Break a leg. 9th of June if you'd like to see aspects of ageing at the People's History Museum, and then at the King's Arms in Salford, 28th, 29th, and the 30th of July as part of the Manchester Fringe Festival.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you, Marie.
Thank you.
And that's it from me for today. I'll be back with you.